And now we interrupt, disrupt, and crash this station.
The man fighting for peace, his legacy, truth in a sea of stupid.
Filtered for your sarcastic enjoyment, Ghostgetter.
Hey, y'all, haven't been around in a while. I thought I'd get through the holidays and things like that, so I apologize for not being around. And I want to do some stuff for the future, but I want to make sure I got enough people. So please like and subscribe if you like the channel. I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to do other things besides sitting at this table. But I want to get out there more like I did in my shows in the past. My past shows had a lot of followers and stuff like that when I was live. But I stopped doing the shows. People went their own way, that sort of thing. The paranormal radio shows and stuff kind of lost its luster. It started to fade out. People went their own ways. I wanted to keep doing it, but of course the only people that wanted to hear wanted to hear stuff that wasn't true. So I wasn't willing to do that. And I'm not going to tickle the ears of people, and I didn't want to do that. That's why a lot of them left. That's not what I'm all about. I can't do that. I have a conscience, and I can't sit and lie to people like some have. And I've also stopped, for years now, stopped hanging around those people that didn't care the truth or not, didn't care about the other people they were talking to, they were taking advantage of. And I didn't want to be around those people, so I went my own way. A lot of them are trying to do TV shows, and some of them are on TV, and I just shake my head every time I see them because I know what they really are, and I don't want to be a part of that. So I'd rather be alone than be a liar. So today I want to talk about something I saw that I've been seeing a lot of shaking my head situations where I can't believe this is going on.
Coronavirus.
The first thing I want to talk about is Facebook.
There's a
today.
link that I got.
I sent out this link a while back.
On it.
Well, it's been about a week, I guess.
Made the virus and patented it, which is very suspicious. Now, I didn't really agree nor disagree with it. I just posted and said very interesting.
Facebook says that they had to flag it and tell other people that it was a hoax because somebody said it was a hoax. Facebook started to say it's a hoax because so-and-so said it was a hoax, so we have to tell everybody it's a hoax, and because we want people to believe it was a hoax. So I went and I looked up this person that claimed it was a hoax, and it's by such and such. I really don't want to get into a long history of it. I got the link. If you want the link, it's on the bottom, the link of the patent. And somebody went through a lot of trouble, if it is fake, to make this patent, to create all this. He went through a lot of trouble for it. So that's what I thought was interesting. So one thing I forgot to mention, it says Google patents. It actually came from Google, a Google website. So pretty much Facebook shot themselves in the foot by saying it's a hoax, and it came from Google. So it's kind of like they looked themselves in the mirror and said, "You're a fraud." So it came from Google. So I don't understand the whole thing, but I think Facebook needs to argue with Google on this one. Well, I looked up the guy that supposedly, when somebody makes an article, they say who it is and where they're from. They have what you call a source, so to speak. What magazine they're from, where they got their sources from, date, time, all that stuff. It only had a name, which I cannot believe somebody could just throw a name out there and say I'm so-and-so. It doesn't mean anything. But all it was just a name. And then I looked up and noticed that it wasn't even a site. It's just hoax. And I thought, okay, there's no legitimate website. There's no legitimate name or saying where it comes from, any of this stuff. But Facebook ran up quickly to believe what this guy said and did not want to believe that there's an actual link that shows where the patent is. So I thought, okay, if you have all this evidence of this virus being a patent and this virus being made up and all this stuff that's created compared to some guy that just walks up and says it ain't real, and you're going to believe this guy and his hoax website according to you, do you think I'm stupid? Well, we were born yesterday? Do you think we're this crazy to think that we're going to follow what somebody says just at the top of our head? It just goes to show you that Facebook chooses sides. When they claim they don't, they do. If something is more toward the conservative side, they will quickly jump to call it a hoax, or whatever anybody tells them, they're going to believe and jump on it and call it a hoax and take it down their page and flag you and put you in Facebook jail and all this other stuff. When you have all this other evidence, it's not important to them. Just like a while back, a few years ago, Facebook claims that they will take down anything that's vulgar or offensive or anything like that. And so someone made this horrific, vulgar, cartoon image of Christ in a sexual manner. It was disgusting. And I reported it to Facebook, and Facebook came back and said, we didn't see anything here that was offensive. And I thought, okay, how do you not know that this is offensive? So if a woman flashes her boobs, you're going to call that offensive and take it down, which you should anyway. But this is not offensive. And by the way, I've seen some pretty disgusting things that Facebook would allow. So to say that they are a legit group, I would watch that and be very careful of Facebook. That sounds pretty suspect to me, and they can't consider someone a fraud when they're being fraudulent themselves. And here's the second thing I want to talk about. This disgusting pig, and by the way, we're talking about frauds, and I got 3 of them. This disgusting pig, Harvey Weinstein. This is Harvey Weinstein a year ago walking out of court. This is this fatty, fat fraud walking out of court today. Or in court. Yeah, walking in court today.
Harvey, are you ready for Annabella's testimony?
Harvey, how did yesterday go? How are you feeling today?
Better.
Didn't Bill Cosby do the same thing? Good. Better. Butter. Somebody should have said parquet while he was, while he said better.
Better.
Parquet.
Anyway, oh my gosh. Can you not see what I'm seeing? Because, especially when he asked about Annabelle, he kind of fell. Oh my gosh. That's just crazy. And let's talk about the third thing that I'm sure everyone wants to hear that hates me. People are still complaining about the video I made where I talked about Bob Larson being fraudulent. Now, the reason I say this is because I spent years and years and years dealing with the unusual demonic type things. And I'm no 100% all-knowing expert, because no one is, especially not him. But what I do know is, being the fact that I've dealt with it since I was a child and beyond, the fact that there are things that I've noticed and witnessed and had happen that when he's up on stage, it's too plain and simple and just direct to be something that is real. this is why I think that the people that are up there are not possessed. First of all, it's not the simple of someone screaming and kicking and yelling and things like that. And by the way, no one still answered me on how Bob Larson needs an interpreter, or a demon he's trying to take out of a person needs an interpreter to understand Bob Larson. Because he was speaking in a different language, but couldn't understand what Bob Larson was saying. Yeah. But what gets me is there is a plethora of things that happen that for someone to just stand there and put a cross on his head, smack him in the head with a Bible, and say that this man is possessed, and he just kicks and screams, and that's about it. There's a lot more to it than that. First of all, so they hide more than anything. It's not something they just come out and just do whatever when you just say, hey, come out, and they come out. They hide, and they hide very well when a person's possessed. Two, well, I'm not going to give you 2, 3, 4, 5. But the other thing is, there's a multitude of different things, but I'm going to give you a couple. From experience of knowing people, priests, ministers, things like that have actually dealt with this situation before, they do not want to come out, and they do not want you to involve yourself, or to they do not want you to interfere with what they're doing. So therefore, they will do whatever it takes to keep you from interfering into what they're doing. One of those things is they will give out every little past secret and every little bad sin and embarrassing thing you've ever done in your life right in front of everybody, just so you'll stop doing what you're doing. And a lot of times, like, oh, I better not say anything. But that's what they do. They know your weakness. They know what embarrasses you. They know what scares you. They know what is going to make you change your mind. And one of those things is exposing every little deep thought secret, or every little thing you've ever done, or every little sin that embarrasses you. They will expose this, and they will do it in front of everyone. So that's something I have never seen happen to him. Now, I've seen shadowy figures on walls they've created, not seen anything there. I've seen things being lifted up off the floor, didn't see anything there. Levitations. There's just all kinds of things out there. They will tell you people you know, people you think you know. They will tell secrets about your family life. They will tell your likes, your dislikes. They will objects that appear and disappear. I've had objects appear in front of me, in my pocket. I can go into stories about that. There are a multitude of things. But for someone to just stand there and say, get out of here, and that's all they do, it's just too simple. It's just too direct. And for anyone out there to stand there and say that this guy is legit, and that's all you're seeing. Obviously, 1, you've never seen what they do before. 2, you don't know what they do. And 3, you're being deceived as hell. Because this guy is not showing you what they actually do. You're not seeing what they actually do. There's just too much to explain. But I'm going to give you an example, okay? Because I have heard 2 people in an interview that gave me the suspicion that these 2 men are possessed. Now, I can't say for sure because they're both passed away and there's nobody really done anything to expose them. And it's funny, no one ever has. And I find that quite suspicious that no one ever has called a minister or anything out there to check and see if this person is possessed. And they just find a mental hospital psychiatrist that says, yeah, he's psycho, whatever, and that's that. But listen to the speech and listen to what they say and tell me that this isn't a sign. Actually, I will tell you that this is how they react. This is how they talk. People that are possessed, they're not always spitting up pea soup and acting like that. They actually talk like normal people. And this is what they actually talk about when a person's possessed. Because I've ran into a few people in my lifetime that are possessed, and it's not what Bob Larson's showing you. One is Charles Manson, and two is Jim Jones. So listen to this speech from both of them.
And what have you got to do with God once again?
You know,
I'm just a messenger
so
of the truth.
God's messenger?
Because,
Life's messenger.
you shouldn't.
We use the
you
word
shouldn't
God.
be listening to this stuff. So fair warning.
The God hooks all the other words up. I'm the Pope. I'm 10 times the Pope. I'm 50 times the Pope. But I'm the Pope in the hills and in the mountains. I'm already out of here. This enclosure here, I'm out of here. My body's stuck here, but my thought is already gone. Right or wrong, I don't judge. That's what they got guys in robes for. They judge.
You remember the next day that the head of India was shot and killed?
I didn't realize that was the same time.
Hey, look here. I'm not on a local level.
You're on an international level?
I'm on a world level 3 times around. I know why the Queen wears those 3 stripes on her hat. And I know why she goes to Kentucky to get her horses. There isn't anything I don't know from here to the IRA. I know who gets bombed and why those 17 people starved themselves in Belfast. That's because I live in cell 17. Because those are angels that fly in my world. To me, those are 17 machine guns. Yeah.
See, people talk to him and think it's a joke and think he's just crazy. But if you actually listen to the words he says and listen in between the lines, it starts to make you wonder, because this is how people that have this problem of being possessed actually talk. Also, you notice he says a lot of we instead of I. It makes you wonder what he's referring to when he's talking about we. But it's interesting that some of the things he says, and you can go back and listen to it. And you can listen to a lot of the interviews he has online. He does a lot of this. So it's pretty creepy, and you should check it out. So the next one I'm going to play is Jim Jones.
Love is practically
now this one,
get you destroyed.
no one's probably ever heard,
if I had
but I've talked about it on my show before.
Just a little more.
And it is pretty freaky.
We would have had a little less trouble. Because I look at my faults analytically. Sure, you got to love principle, but don't say, hate is my enemy. What did it say? What's that word? Hate is my enemy. I got to fight it day and night. And what else is the line? Love is the only weapon. Bull! Martin Luther King died with love. Kennedy died talking about something he couldn't even understand, some kind of generalized love, and he never even backed it up. He shut down. Bull! Love is the only weapon with which I got to fight. I got a hell of a lot of weapons to fight. I got my claws, I got compasses, I got guns, I got dynamite, I got a hell of a lot to fight. I'll fight. I will fight. Let them hear it in the night. Let the night roar with it. They're out there. They're listening. Let the night roar with it. Let the night roar. because they can hear us. They know we mean it. We'll kill them if they come. Right quick, one line. What do you think should be done with your relative?
I'd like to kill my so-called brother and Bill Aarons for the crap that both of them have caused over these years since they've left.
Thank you.
Sandy knew that this was the last hope for many people, including children, and when she wants to ally herself with people who wish to destroy this place, I think she should be wiped out. How? It happened to occur to me, a good way of beating somebody up is to have them christened like a boat. If her skull was split, it would serve a good purpose.
I sure don't want to give that christening of the boat to my precious black loved ones back there, because that don't mean much to anybody but the middle class, and they would definitely get that wrong.
I think that Mr. Tupper should die, and that I should
Mr. Tupper, this always kills me, this family. Mr. Tupper. He's always been Mr. Tupper. Everybody calls him Mr. Tupper. I don't want to know it. It's funny. I like it, Mr. Tupper. Go ahead.
I think that I should take a knife and cut Mr. Tupper all up real good, and
cut him up real good.
And then make him look like, cut him up and then put poison in him and invite all my relatives over there and have them eat him, and then I'll die.
You've been talking to Red. That's what you've been doing.
My mom is a damn fool. I hope I'm not the...
I'm glad I put my life on the line to save you. So my mom is a goddamn fool. I beat the fucking shit out of her.
I dare her come out because I'll be the one to I'm a shotter.
Good. My mom was a goddamn fool.
And of course, there's more interviews online of this stuff. You can check it out. Like I said, listen to the detailed words. Listen to what he's saying, how he acts, how he reacts, things like that. And you really don't hear any of this stuff coming out of Jim Jones' people. Not like that. So I appreciate everybody checking this show out or checking this video out, and I want to thank you. And I should be making one in the next couple of days. I'm hoping to. And think about this video. There's a lot to think about. So I appreciate it. And I thank everybody for joining subscribing to this channel. I appreciate it. And those of you that are listening to the station, thank you. Some good music for you. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 70s, 80s, 90s. Check out the links below. Check out the links below.
Hey everybody,
on
don't
the,
forget to check out Reverse 96
on the,
FM on TuneIn, Streamer, and now
Google
internetradio.com
patent and everything else. Till next time, thanks everybody. See ya.